What's going on, y'all? It's J Small Reviews here, back at it again with another video. A lot of silliness going on in the culture right now. A lot of talk about recorded phone calls. You all see the recorded phone calls, you know what I'm saying, going around. We got people saying things on the phone that they shouldn't. And then we got people recording phone calls they shouldn't. And I guess shopping it out. It's nasty. It's nasty all the way around. And I'd like to talk about some battle rap. You know what I'm saying? So, another big battle in many that are coming up in December. We do have Jazz versus Bigg K, and I thought now would be a perfect time to do a Jazz book'em. There's a little bit of talk about while she is battling very steady competition. I have no issue with it. Battling the Bigg Ks, the Twerks, the Nitties, a lot of the best competition this particular year in battle rap as a whole. There's people that say she should battle some more top tier females. There is a few big matchups out there for her, and I just think while Jazz is active, we could see her having another big 2024 in terms of booking. So I just wanted to give my 2 cents on some of the matchups here. And without further ado, let's get right into the top 5. For those that have seen the series, you'll know that 5 is going to be maybe something that's a little out there, or maybe something that's less likely to happen, while 1 is going to be the matchup I think is next best for Jazz to take. But at number 5, we do have Jazz versus Tay-Rock. Now, I know this doesn't have really much storyline behind it, and even goes to a critique that I know some people have of Jazz's booking, where she battles her friends. You know what I'm saying? Clearly, she's cool with Tay-Rock, and then she's battled Twerk, Nitty, Clips, Geechee. I think Clips and Geechee were bad. I think Twerk and Nitty were good battles, though, so I don't know what, too much of what the complaint is. But with that being said, I just think it's solid. It fits into her battling more male top-tier legends and just legends. And if it comes to like a Kings versus Queens, they've traded a couple tweets. He's like, oh, I'll kill you, I'd smoke you. And if it was like the headliner of Kings versus Queens that doesn't have, too many intergender real storyline battles, if we're just booking for namesake, kind of like we've done the last few years, I think Jazz and Tay-Rock, for the most part, always consistent. Even if it's just a punch fest, it could still be a good battle. And that's why it's I have it here at number 5. At number 4, we have Jazz giving more of a shot in a sense, but she's been way more active. And I mean, listen, she battled RX, you know what I'm saying? Battled Shice Raw. She's obviously not scared to just get active, and that's why I think particularly in a small room, Jazz versus First Lady Flames would be a fantastic battle for Jazz to take. Now when it comes to Flames, if C3 had beat Flames and not Flames beating C3, maybe C3 makes this list. I'm just going to let you know now she doesn't. Still a really good matchup. I just think that there's more prevalent matchups in this moment. But I think writing-wise, this could bring the best out of Jazz pen-wise. I think she won the first versus Nitty and Twerk just by out-punching them. Faced 2 of the best punchers of all time in their prime and completely kind of smoked them in the first of their own game. So she can clearly reach that levels without an angle, just writing straight pen-wise. And I think Flames can match that. We obviously know how elite Flames' pen is. Maybe a matchup like this will bring the absolute best out of her like it did in an E-Heart battle, which I believe won Battle of the Year that year, or at least was heavily in contention, and I just think it's good rec. And like I said, if there was another ladies volume, that could clearly headline it, but if not, that could be on a regular volume card. That is just that's a good battle that even though it's not as demanded as some of the ones we're about to talk about or profile wise, still very good, and I know people would love to see it. From there, we get into the top 3, which I think are 3 just like mega matches for Jazz. And at number 3, and it'll explain itself, Jazz versus Couture. What do I got to say to you, man? You know what I'm saying? Out of all the top-tier ladies that Jazz has battled, obviously Couture is not one of them. Many people, you know what I'm saying, say that Jazz might be avoiding that Couture wreck, and I don't believe that, you know what I'm saying? There's even talk about that right now, Couture originally wanting Jazz on Chrome. But the reason I feel like there is that type of talk and how Couture could beat Jazz is the fact that Jazz is one of the best anglers of all time. That's just what she's amazing at a few things, but particularly angling, that separates her from the rest. And Couture is the only other lady I think can match her in that category. We know that that's what Couture does, is really work an angle and break a person down. And there's fun in that. There's fun in, okay, this is the person that can match Jazz at her best trait. She has her own aura, obviously. We know how Couture gets now. We're going to see very soon when she battles someone else that we're going to talk about in this list. I just think it's dope, and it's one of those that I think there's other battles that are probably going to happen first on like a prevalent scale. But if there's talk about it, if Couture apparently did want Jazz on Chrome originally before taking her most recent battle, hopefully in 2024 we can get this with Jazz also debuting on Chrome, because I think Jazz versus Couture, I mean, that's easy money. It's a mega matchup. And for me, the top two was pretty clear here. It's just a matter of what order that you put it in. But for at number 2 at the runner-up spot, I do have the rematch, Jazz versus Miss Hustle 2. Obviously, the first battle going down on SM3, which Jazz won clear in a bit of a bizarro fashion battle, right? And now you get to this later, maybe 10 years down the line pretty much, right? And Jazz and Miss Hustle are still possibly the two best females, top females in women's battle rap. Super elite, have even, you could debate, have gotten, not even debate, they both have gotten much better since then. Both have added to their legacy. We might be talking about another year where they're both finishing top 2 for WOTY, which is very prestigious. You know what I'm saying? When we talk about the best, really now we can look at the best individual years and look at, oh wow, it's just Jazz and Hustle right now. There's some that say this should be the next battle that she should take. Obviously, it looks like Jazz has kind of backed off from the battle that had a lot of interest. It looked like both sides were interested. Now Jazz doesn't really want to do the battle. It's hard to blame her with some of the other matchups. It's hard to say she'd even be ducking, right, with some of the other matchups she's taking. She's not taking that, but she's taking Rum Nitty. She's taking Bigg K. She's taking Twerk. She's taking probably 3 of the top 5 projected Cody contenders right now. You know, something, or I guess if you're not really in the top 2, you're not really a contender. But you know what I'm saying. Like, she's still taking some of the toughest fights in the world. But some would say this is the one that matters the most, right? That maybe pushes female battle rap forward a little bit. And I think, no question, it's a battle that I want to see. They've both gotten a lot better. I think the Jazz has a lot of the advantages that would actually help her win this battle again. I'd like her chances going in. But when we talk big stage, especially if that could have been in New York, could you imagine if that was on Homecoming too, man? But if that was to go down in that particular setting, it doesn't become more of an even playing field. It's the strategist versus almost like the bully ball performer. That's history right there. It's a rare that rematches, I think, really make sense in battle rap. But this is one of those that you would really, really hope happens at least by the end of 2024 while they're both on these runs, because it's organic. It's lined itself up. And that leaves me with the number 1 next best matchup for Jazz, which could change because this lady has a lot on her plate coming up. If she pulls it off, she for sure, I think, it's the next biggest matchup to make. If she doesn't, maybe she falters somewhere in the list, and that is Coffee Brown. Jazz versus Coffee. Now, this is one that I didn't think would get built up like that I would end up caring that much for. Even though I think it's a battle that could always happen, it was looking that way. She does have a WOTY to her name, you know what I'm saying? I know Jazz is big on taking all of this new age competition, so I think it'd be a great matchup. But if Coffee pulls this off versus Couture and 40, on back-to-back days, then it's insane. Then Coffee may have just had the greatest single achievement in female battle rap history. And on the flip side, you have Jazz bringing that star power A side to it. It could become historic, so it depends on what Coffee does. But I really think that this battle could be incredible. And for me, especially, like I said, if Coffee pulls this off in New York, would for sure be the next best matchup for Jazz. But that is my top 5 best next matchups for Jazz. Love to hear what you guys think, what you would like to see Jazz take going into 2024. Some of the key people that we're missing, obviously, I mentioned C3. Not mad at that one at all. Another legend that I think would make sense, even though C3's been taking a little bit of a dip lately following the tournament. And then obviously Misfit. It's probably going to be the one that someone's like, how could you not mention Jazz and Misfit? I want you to let it go. I want you to grow up. I don't know how many times we got to do this. It's like the daylight and lux of the ladies. Misfit doesn't even rap anymore. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't even rap anymore. Now, there was a time where it was easily the biggest matchup for Jazz. And in the dream world, you know what I'm saying, some people can mention that. I like to make this a little bit more realistic to what I can see Jazz taking. Obviously, she was the one that, Misfit being the one that exposed the dispatcher angle, which at the time, if that matchup lined up, would have been crazy, but it didn't. And it's probably not gonna. So I just want you to let it go. That's the reason it didn't make the list. It's probably never gonna happen. But like I said, you guys let me know in the comments how you feel about this. Do you think Coffee will be the next best matchup, or do you think the Hustle rematch is really what makes sense? And as for the men, I only had Tay-Rock here. Obviously, Jazz, I would think, would take more male competition than that. She says that's where she finds a lot of her challenge from, gets a lot of inspiration. So what other top-tier males that I didn't mention do you think would end up being a good matchup for Jazz? But it's been J Smo Reviews here. As I said, like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to catch you on the next one, man. Peace.